And here we go. I'm starting in a weird place. That's where I was actually standing to record. So I will move back now and just start giving you a little bit of a bird's eye view. So this is the entryway with the loft above it, and like you can see, it is packed plumb full of stuff that I need to go through and get rid of some of. But I'm also a big craft person, so there's some things I don't want to get rid of because eventually I'll get back into that. This is my door and the front window. I used pallet boards for the top there, if you can see that, and then a brick paneling for the bottom. I will walk over that way so we can get kind of a better view of what I've done here. You can't really see it because of all the junk on it, but this is a piece of furniture that I actually redid. It's just an old piano bench and an old mirror that I attached so that I could have a coat rack. It looks really nice when there's not a bunch of clutter on it, and I'm excited to see it when everything is set like it's supposed to be. This bookshelf my dad actually made in high school, and it was one of those things that when he decided to move in with my sister, I asked if I could have that. Another handy thing that my parents had was this baker's rack. It's working nicely for me. Again, it's kind of cluttered right now, and eventually I won't have it looking quite as cluttered. And then this is my kitchen. I bought that island off of Swap Shop for like 50 bucks. It's an actual marble top, very heavy duty, and I really like it for my workspace when I'm cooking. My appliances are apartment size appliances. They were not very expensive. They were just a little over $300 each. And I don't have the stove hooked up yet because I hadn't run the line for it. Then this is the wall with open shelving for storage. I really actually love the way that this turned out. Again, the blue shelf was at my parents', and my dad ended up moving out of the home that they had lived in for the last 20 years, and so I was able to take that and be able to use it here. The shelves were at my son-in-law's garage, and his dad had bought them for something else and didn't need all of them, so I was able to get that for free. As you can see, all of the distressed wood, I've just used pallets, and I have cut them to size. They're not all in perfect shape. They still have some rough edges, but I kind of like that look. I had these canisters prior to moving in, and I simply screwed them, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of work to make them look just a little bit better, but I just screwed them at the top to the shelf itself. I used some caulking for like an adhesive at the top, and I will put some nuts at the end of the screws and then cut them off straight so they're not pointed at some time. I just haven't done that yet. So there's that. The iron, these cast iron spoons and stuff are only for decoration. I won't ever use them for cooking, but they were my great grandmother's, and she had given them to my mom, and so I was able to get them. And this was also my mom's. She had this in her kitchen for as long as I can remember, and so this is in memory of my mom, who I miss dearly. Sorry, I don't mean to get choked up, but it's difficult. Just been a little over a year, and it's hard. So this is my my cast iron sink that I again got off Swap Shop for $60. It's a coal, so it is a good sturdy sink, and I built the shelving around it. It's not pretty at all. I will just kind of show you. I just put some of my brick paneling there to help cover, like, face it, and then those are just some tubs that I'm using to catch water so that we can kind of use the sink like it's meant to be used. Even though, as you can see, I don't have a faucet yet, so I'm not running water in, but I can do dishes in the sink. The cabinet, or the countertop actually, I bought was similar to this, but not exact. So I chose to buy a black refinishing kit to do the countertop. Again, through a series of things, I'm an amateur, so I, messed up a lot. I ended up breaking the counter at this end, and then at that end, when I had it all nice and smooth, my daughter and her boyfriend came in and sat down cups with liquid in them, and they actually left rings on them. And the only way that I could cover that was to try and make it look like it was supposed to be a rough surface. So as you can see, I've just got rough surfaces here. This is how I refinished it. It is not smooth to the touch, but it also isn't rough to the point of like hurting you. And I actually kind of like it. I feel like it goes with the decor of the rest of the house. So I don't anticipate ever trying to get a new countertop. I may refinish this just a little bit more to make it look better. But that's what that looks like. I fell in love with the idea, again on a Pinterest shot, of rather than doing cabinet doors, which not only suited me as far as trying to build something, but also just adding some color in the kitchen, dining room, living room area. Again, I am a female, so I like pops of color and a little bit of femininity, and with the industrial look you tend to get so much masculine hard lines that throwing in color kind of softens that, I think. The space there is supposed to be for what I initially had planned to do was open another window setting like is over there and put in a heating and air conditioning unit combined. Since I'm not doing regular electricity, I'm not sure that's what I'm going to do anymore, but I didn't cover it. Believe it or not, this galvanized metal is a pain in the butt to cut, and so I don't want to deal with it any more than I have to until I have to. So since a window was going to be put there anyway, I didn't want to mess with putting any more. This is another piece of furniture that I have refinished. It matches the bench at the front. It was, again, the table was my parents', and so I've just refinished it so that it matches that in color. And I found the chairs at a yard sale for $5 each, so that was a pretty good find. All of this is stuff that I'm still trying to determine where to put in the house, and then the paneling that is going to go up on the ceiling eventually. So I've already got 3 panels up. I started with the help of a young man, and he was very tall, and he stood on the ladder while I screwed in a few, and then I held up while he screwed them in. Well, you can kind of see where he got into the corner and actually bent my paneling right there. Let me see if I can get there. He bent it, so that's why it doesn't match at this end. So I'm going to have to unscrew all of the paneling on that end and get them aligned. It's not a job I can really do by myself, so I'm waiting for some help there. I haven't asked anybody, so I'm just kind of waiting until that's a priority. At this point, it's not. We usually keep the fans running all night and most of the day, but it cooled off so much last night and it's warming up outside that I have found if I keep the fans running, it pulls in the hot air and doesn't keep the house cool. But if I just leave it kind of opened like it is right now, the coolness actually stays quite a bit. So this is going to be my flooring, and it looks horrible right now. Again, we are dragging in so much mud because it's a totally undeveloped property. I can't keep it clean, but I did try to start doing some painting. I'm just going to paint all the floors this gray color, and it actually happens to kind of match what I did on the ceiling, so that's cool. So now we're going to go back here. Now, again, this bedroom and bathroom setting are really messy, but they're functional right now. So this is my bathroom. Right now we just have a curtain up, so if we wanted to use it to change, we can close the curtain. I do have a door to buy, but I haven't bought